on this Futures Day, guys. Happy Futures Day.
Happy Futures Day,
Happy
Kay.
Futures Day, Kay.
Big day, awesome day, special day.
Special day. And listen, you guys I'm not familiar with college. You guys are going to help me with that all season long. I believe we have Pate on, who's going to crush it. I saw him on Bussin with the boys. So excited to have him on in a little bit. You just saw Julian. You just heard Gronk. This will be amazing. You guys are part of the FanDuel family for content, which we love. But you guys did just release a first episode of a docuseries, Rearview Mirror. Congrats on YouTube. Taylor, what do we expect to reveal and learn about you two?
We don't know. That's the best
we have
part.
no idea. So Jared Beeman, he actually, we were sitting in this room a few months ago and he had this idea for Rearview Mirror. He's like, I want to go back and kind of break down how our biggest interviews happen. His first one he wanted to do was Trump. So he went, dialed it up, did the whole thing himself. The production value was incredible. He had me and Will sit behind the bus, answer some questions along with JP Hovey, and definitely did not disappoint from a production standpoint. It was he had my attention the entire time watching it. So I hope anybody who checks it out loves it.
Big shout out to Jared Beeman.
I can't wait to see that. Shout out JP Hovey, who we know and love on this Futures Day and every day. Okay. Will, love seeing you. Finally, you graced the presence of this television program, which we love to see. It took FanDuel's Futures Day to make it happen, but we're going to start with you and the meanest of the meanest in football, the AFC North. Will, who you taking to win the division?
Steelers. I was listening to Gronk being on. I'm with him. The reason I like the Steelers, I think the Ravens are a better roster. They're a better football team. But when you look at their schedules, the Ravens play 9 former playoff teams in their schedule this year. 5 contenders, 5 playoff teams last year in their first 6 weeks. When you look at the Steelers, I think they're going to be much better. Obviously, with Aaron Rodgers, you got DK Metcalf. They got some weapons on the outside. They're going to have a good defense. And when you look at their schedule, they only play about 4 former playoff teams last year. They're kind of scattered throughout the season on the back half. I like the Steelers setup and positioning a lot better when looking at their schedule. So that is why I am going with the Steelers.
You too, Lewan? Wow.
Yeah, I have to agree with Will with all the things he said. And from a personnel standpoint, Aaron Rodgers, when he goes to the Jets, everyone thinks he's going to bring the Jets back to life. Fun fact, no one can bring the Jets back to life. They're dead. They're dying. They're on life support. Now no one's talking about Aaron Rodgers. He's kind of going under the radar. This is the perfect time for him to go off DK Metcalf. Obviously, people are worried about Najee Harris being gone. He's at the Chargers now. But Caleb Johnson, who they drafted out of Iowa, no one talked about him because that kid from Boise State was out there who got drafted by the Raiders. He rushed for a school record of 1,500 yards last year. He's going to be an absolute stud. I think their offense is going to come along in a big way with Arthur Smith. Also, you pay TJ. You get Highsmith back, who had the ankle and the groin last year, who takes a lot of pressure off of TJ, very underrated rusher, and then the leadership of Cameron Hayward. I think this is a sneaky team. I think this is a team that can go and do things that no one thinks they can do, and that's win the AFC North.
I mean, is Rodgers in the MVP conversation? I'm looking at FanDuel Sportsbook right now. He's tied at 23, Taylor, with your boy from Michigan, JJ McCarthy. The odds at plus 7,300. What do you make of that? Long shot.
I think it's a long shot for a reason. I think it's a long shot for a reason. Me personally, it's going to go along with a lot of my picks. I'm leaning on who won it last year, which is Josh Allen. I just think that this is the Bills' year. This is Josh Allen. He kicks it up again. He hits a new level. I think the only person that can unseat him would probably be Joe Burrow. I think he could have won the award last year with Lamar Jackson, but Joe threw for so many yards, so many touchdowns. He would have been in the MVP conversation if his team would have done better from a win-loss standpoint. But I like my money's going Josh.
Let's go to that. Do you have a pick for MVP, Will?
No, I don't. Now, listen, I'm going to talk every which way out of my mouth here because I've watched back. I love Joe Burrow. If they can figure anything out defensively and protect him for just a little bit, this is the best quarterback in the NFL. And I think he'll continue to do this stuff, building on last year and the years in the past. Joe Burrow's the best player. I like him for the MVP conversation. I also think it's sneaky now. You get Jaden Daniels. Listen, Washington was bottom of the sea when it comes to run defense. If they correct their run defense at all, that's going to help out Jaden Daniels. I think he has a huge year. So I like Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels.
I like that Trey Hendrickson's back because I don't like you guys picking the Steelers to win the division on this show. Okay, let's go to AFC West. Will, I'm going to go back to you here. Who you taking? Broncos. We've got, let's look at the odds here. Chargers at 310. Who you got?
I got the Broncos. I got
Oh,
the
wow.
Broncos. I was on Bo Nix early last year. Big time professional. He's got all the intangible stuff. Coached by his dad, playing big time ball down in the South, growing up in high school. Was a big time winner at Oregon. I think him and Sean Payton, that marriage, I think it's going to continue to blossom. Their defense is aggressive. Their defense is really good. I like the Broncos winning the AFC West this year.
AFC West, Taylor.
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I like Harbaugh. I love the fact that he's sitting on Rich Eisen's show a few months ago talking about having dreams of Justin Herbert, how he's got to get him in the Hall of Fame. How do you get a guy in the Hall of Fame as a quarterback? You win Super Bowls, you win MVPs. Their run game, we just talked about this guy who came from the Steelers, Najee Harris. Their defense is going to be even better than they were last year. They are buying into the culture, just like the Michigan Wolverines did with Jim Harbaugh. I think they unseat the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is the first year in 4 years I've gone against the Kansas City Chiefs. Love Patrick Mahomes. Love Travis Kelce, friend of the show.
Friends of the
Do
show.
you?
Friend of the show. However, oh yeah, love them to death. I just think when you have this many coaches, you got Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid. Like, this is going to be one of the most fun divisions to watch. And I love the idea of chaos. And I think the Chargers are the one to stir it up.
I'm just going to clip this and send it to Patrick and Travis. Just you two picking against the Chiefs, leaving them out. But giving them a shout out. What does the alleged dating between Justin Herbert and Madison Beard do to the Chargers odds on FanDuel Sportsbook, Taylor? Help?
I don't know if it's going to affect the odds. What I will say is shout out NFL football players. It seems like Travis really unlocked a new level for everybody in there. And you got Cardi B and you got Stephon Diggs over there with licky emojis and BBL talk. And now you're talking about guys dating all over the place. Like, football players are sitting in a good spot. We're sitting in a great spot where you're like Pete Carroll's old USC where the Kardashians are ripping around. Like, we got that around the whole entire league right now. It's a good time to be a football player.
Winning on and off the field.
Winning on and off the field.
That's what matters. By the way, for those of you who do like the Chiefs, they are plus 100 to win the AFC West over on FanDuel Sportsbook on this Futures Day. Let's switch conferences. Let's head to the NFC. NFC West, to be specific. Let's start with Will.
Gosh, the NFC West is tough. I was getting talked into every team last week.
Yeah, he was.
I personally, look, if Matt Stafford is healthy, add Devontae Adams, the brain of Sean McVay, I like the Rams, that young defense, that young defensive line in particular. They're going to make a huge jump going into year two. They were nasty toward the end of the year, causing a lot of turnovers, getting to the quarterback. I like the defense. I like what they got going on offense over there. I'm going with the Rams. It's tough because I love the Niners. We got a lot of great friends of the show on the Niners. I was starting to get talked into the Seahawks last week. I don't think Arizona's taking this whatsoever. But my personal pick is going to be the Los Angeles Rams.
Will, are you worried about a slow start? I talked to Sean McVay about that. It's been a thing. He admitted it's a thing. Now we have this Stafford thing. I know they're saying he's ready to roll. Those were the words, ready to roll. Any concern that they might get us off to a slow start here?
I'm not concerned about the slow start. They might have it, but the Rams have just proven in the past they're a team that builds and just get better. When they start clicking, they are a very tough football team. What concerns me is the low back issues that Matt Stafford has. As a low back surviving guy myself, I'm not saying survivor because I haven't survived it yet, but as a guy surviving low back pain, that is where my question mark lies. I hope the epidural worked. I hope Matt Stafford's feeling beautiful because when he is on, he is on. The Rams.
You're not wrong. They're combined 4-10 before their bye over the last two seasons. But then what you just said, they start clicking. They're 16-4 after the bye. Their bye week is week 8 this year. Go have fun with that on FanDuel Sportsbook. Taylor, NFC West pick.
NFC West, first off, I want to just give my condolences to all the Cardinals fans out there. It's Heartbreak Hotel that no one's thinking about you guys and will continue to not think about you guys from the state of Arizona. It's a fair weather fan state. Moment of silence.
Will.
So my pick's going to be the 49ers. I think a lot of people want to hate because Deebo Samuels, they lost a couple guys. You mentioned them with Gronk on the last portion of your show. When they're healthy, they're dangerous. I think they're going to stay a little more healthy than they were last year. It's very difficult to be more unhealthy than they were last year. I'm going to stick with the 49ers. The Rams scare me because I see my boy. He's got the low back pain. And if Matthew Stafford's even going through half of what Will Compton has gone through, no man can even operate on that. Seattle, sneaky to me, I believe. Is it Jesse Minter? Jesse Minter?
Uh-huh.
Is that the head coach? Yeah, and where did he come from?
Oh, Minter McDonald.
Mike McDonald. Yeah, excuse me. Minter's the DC. Mike McDonald, he was also at Michigan. I get those two mixed up because they're two beautiful defensive brains. I think Seattle is going to be They're going to be a little scary at times, but I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a 49ers and they're going to have a bounce back year.
How much did Brock Purdy calling you a tool factor into you picking them?
Sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, have you been a tool in the past? Have you gone on Kay Adams' show and said some things that people told you and decided to double down on it? Yeah. And shout out Brock, looking me in the eyes. I mean, it's and not only him, but George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. I believe Fred Warner also said something to me as well. So you can tell he's got his team loves him. His team loves him. And for that, maybe that's a reason why I'm also taking the 49ers this year.
Will, did you tell Taylor that you were going to read him that quote?
Yeah, we kind of, it was like, hey, how are we going to get into this part where we bring out the past of Taylor saying this stuff? And I was like, if anybody reads anything, I think it has to come from me. So that way we set it up and I can kind of fall back and watch it happen. Versus anybody getting out in front of it. It's like we wanted it to have its moment. It had its moment. Matter of fact, it was Brock was surprised. He didn't realize that actually came from Taylor.
Yeah.
I know. So I watched it.
Real time. That was a real time reaction. That was a real time. You could see him. He was fighting through it. A very poised quarterback in the pocket. He was doing the best he could to not let his emotions get the best of him, handle the comment. But yeah, I think we all learned a valuable lesson.
It sucked the air out of the building, out of the bus, for sure. And we had to really fight through the fringe there for a little bit. I think he walked away liking Will a lot more than he likes me, as is most of our interviews go. This one, it was pretty clear cut.
I just thought it was really brilliantly done by both of you. Like my whole staff watched it again this morning because I wanted to make sure that you didn't play me somehow for it. So we were watching it, and it was it was.
This
excellent.
is the origin story, though. Okay, like I had to sit on your thing, and I thought I was Mr. Hot Takes, and guess what? Your boy got a hot take in the face right after.
But you weren't hot taking. That was the whole thing. You'd come on and be like, "I love him and him," and then you was like the one. It was really like the one thing that you said, and then they all got mad about, which makes sense. And now you guys are all best friends because of Bussin' with the Boys, which we love. Okay, it's Futures Day. Let's get back to this NFC East. Taylor, who you got? Who's coming out of the East?
NFC East, I'm going to have to take the Commanders. I don't think there's been a two-time winner since 2004. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, we were at that training camp. We saw them. They have aliens all over the field. Lane Johnson, the most underrated 99 guy of all time. But Jaden Daniels, incredible. I think he takes another step this year. I think the Washington Commanders understand the talent they have on the offensive side of the ball. So they need to step up in a big way on defense, which Will alluded to. But I like the Commanders. I like them getting sneaky. I like them going right where they left off when the season ended.
No teams won back-to-back NFC East titles in over 20 years, but I like all these things. Let's keep looking at these odds. Well, who do you have?
Man, listen, I want the Commanders to win. As a guy that was there for 5 years, laid a foundation for this team to take off the way they have. I want the Commanders, but if I'm going to be as unbiased as possible for your watching and listening audience, I'm going to stick with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are absolutely stacked throughout their entire roster. They have depth. When you can run the football well and you can play really good defense, especially run defense. You look at all these teams that are competing for the Super Bowl. What's their common denominator? They can stop the run. The Commanders were like bottom tier, bottom of the barrel, maybe the worst in the league. And if they're going to gain any ground and become the NFC East champions, it's going to be fixing those problems with their run defense. But until that happens, until they start proving it, I got to go with the Eagles because they bring back like everybody. They're so healthy. They got the Georgia pipeline. They got freaks of nature everywhere. Cooper DeJean, friend of the show.
Cooper DeJean.
AJ Brown, he's healthy.
Friend of the show.
Devontae Smith.
Future friend of the show.
Oh, just Lane Johnson.
Friend of the show.
Jordan Mailata.
Friend of the show.
Beef jerky.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Husker.
I want to hear more about how you laid the foundation for the Commanders.
Like I just snuck that in there.
I'm stuck on it. It brought such joy to my heart. Tell me more.
Yeah, so we played there. Your boy played there back from 2013 through 2017. We, I know who's the quarterback? The white quarterback that beat Tom Brady, wild card round, COVID year.
Ryan Tannehill?
No, not Ryan Tannehill.
What team?
He was on the Commanders. But what I was going to say is, up until that point, We were the last, Heineke, Taylor Heineke.
Boom.
We were the last
Friend of the
team.
show.
We were the last team that won the NFC East. We won it around Christmas Day against the Philadelphia Eagles. Your boy's hitting a dab for his only career sack he had in his entire career, Sam Bradford. And so that's where I was rolling with that. As far
I
as
think that they lost to Brady though, but I like your story better.
Did they lose to Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
think.
you know the hits in the head, Kay. You know the hits in the head.
It's the lower back, it's the head, it's all. I mean,
the
you're
lower back, the
warrior.
head. They won the NFC East that year,
Yeah.
but it's getting back to winning the East.
I do
You're
want
a
to say
total
one thing.
survivor.
Will did little insulted himself for the one saying he only had a 1 sack. That might have been the most influential sack in NFL history. I'll say that.
If you take career earnings divided by sack potential, you might be looking at the highest paid sack you've ever seen in the NFL.
In the NFL history.
You guys are making me cry on Futures Day. I'm laughing so hard. I love this so much. On a serious note, do you guys hear the Kellen Moore love that I hear? Or is it like, are we not making a little, is it not a big deal that Kellen Moore is gone? Because the effusive love for Kellen Moore, I can tell you guys are not maybe hearing what I'm hearing. Just like the Saints all love him. I wonder, there's no worry or concern there that he's gone?
No.
There is that is a big thing. It's like when you look at the Lions, I would love them to go on. Are they going to make a Super Bowl run again? They have an incredible roster, an incredible culture, but you lose Ben Johnson, you lose Aaron Glenn on the defensive side. The same thing with Kellen Moore. Before he got to the Eagles, he was ripping and roaring with the Dallas Cowboys. He's a phenomenal offensive coordinator. I did pick him off back in 2015, last game of the season when we played the Cowboys. But I am concerned about Kellen Moore leaving, being on the Saints. I don't think the Saints are a contender for the South at all this year. I think they're a year away from doing that. But as far as leaving the Eagles, that is a concern point for me. But again, they can run the football well. They have aliens all around. They have aliens all around Jalen Hurts. They have an incredible defense. That's not changing. They're going to make a bigger jump. They're going to be even nastier, and they can stop the run. So I do have a little concern, but not the utmost concern.
Which prop would you rather take? I just pulled it up while you were talking, Will, and I love your confidence in them to do what they're doing or to take the division. But Jalen Hurts, his line for passing yards is 3,175.5 random, and Saquon's for rushing is 1,375.5. Which prop would you rather have?
Saquon
Rushing over 1,300. No worry, 480 something touches if you include the postseason. We're not worried.
No. I think a couple of years ago, you sit there and you look at the running back market and they say, oh, guys, after their first contract, they can't really do a whole lot. Guys like Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, they've changed the game in that way. Austin Eckler in some ways as well. Saquon's he's not getting older anytime soon. He's kind of got that Derrick Henry-esque thing. He's going to keep crushing. I think that's can't guarantees. There's no guarantees in life, but I love that problem.
Does Will love the Eagles enough to put them in the Super Bowl? We'll take a short break after this. And this is why you want to be subscribed to the YouTube, because we're actually going to do this on YouTube right now. If you're watching on the TV side, don't. Go to the YouTube. Have both going and the FanDuel Sports back here app on Futures Day. Okay, guys, here we are. Let's do it. Super Bowl 60. This is so hard. I almost, but we got to do it because the deals are so good. There's a boost happening right now. Who is making it and who is winning the Super Bowl? Will, we'll start with you.
I know, and I've changed this Super Bowl pick. Who's going to be in it? At one point, I had the Lions winning it. Then I had the Bills winning it. I do have the Bills going to the Super Bowl facing the Packers. What does Willie C love? He loves run game and he loves run defense. Packers were very good at both last year. Jordan Love, light-skinned brother, some soft tissue injuries can get him. If he can stay healthy, if that team can stay healthy, they will make some noise. They're very creative in the run game. I trust my boy Rich Bisaccia heading up the special teams unit. Their defense is going to be better. I like the Packers. That's a spicy pick, and I love Jordan Love. If a man can stay healthy, because that offense can roll. They went and got buddy down from Texas as a first-round pick this year to help.
Golden.
Yes, Matthew Bolden. You got Dubes. You got Jaden Dobbs. And then it's Jaden Reed. Thank you, Clump. Jaden Reed. And again, Josh Jacobs, he's as durable as they come. Very good football team. I like them to be somebody.
The Packers to win the Super Bowl? Guys.
I like the Packers.
I love this. I love
the
this.
Packers. I like the Packers.
LaFleur. Gotta love friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Okay, before you even send it to me, I'm going to go ahead and take it anyway. Listen, when I'm watching Gronkowski and he's giving out his picks, I don't know if I'm excited or a little bit worried because our brains work the exact same. I got the Buffalo Bills and I got the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. I think the Detroit Lions, is their offense going to be as good as last year? Probably not, because they were top 10 all-time offense, scoring 40 points a game. Aiden Hutchinson is your reason why they're going to get the next step. A lot of rumors he gets himself a fib, the leg whipping around on a sack. I get a couple of calls from some personnel guys from the Lions a couple of days ago where they say Aiden Hutchinson didn't slow down. He actually sped up. He looks a whole lot better. I see their defense taking a big jump, especially in the pressure category. Now, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. The defense had a tough time in the passing game last year. I think they take the next step. They get a little bit better. At some point, Josh Allen has to get over the Patrick Mahomes hump. He's got to get over it. He's got to get one or two similar. I don't want to put this title on Josh, but the way Peyton Manning had to get over Tom Brady a couple of times. I see those two teams getting the Super Bowl. Last night, I wake up at 2:36 a.m. of a fever dream, all right? 105-degree fever, because I had the GM, Brandon Beane. I have a vision of him on the parade, getting snow falling everywhere around Buffalo. He stands up, gets covered in mustard, and then Taylor Lewan and Will Compton pick his ass up and throw him into a couple of tables. So I got the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl. Book it. First one in franchise history.
Friend of the show, Josh Allen, takes the Bills to the Super Bowl. We'd love that. Bills at plus 750. Again, please, producers, clip this off and send it to Kansas City. There's no Chiefs love out of any guest that we've had so far. Before we flip gears and go to college, I got to get your pick, guys. Natty champs, who we got and why. Taylor, quick, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Oregon Ducks, the national championship that lives in the Big Ten. They are the superior conference at this point. Texas, Georgia, they're great SEC schools. Penn State, they probably have the most loaded roster in all of college football. However, when it comes to how their head coach does against top 5 teams, that's where you run into a lot of issues. History tends to repeat itself that way. Dan Lanning's got a bad taste in his mouth. You got more quarterback to this 5-star wide receiver who's apparently taking over in Eugene, Oregon. I like them. I love their culture. I love Dan Lanning. I see them taking over and winning the national championship this year. Ducks.
Plus 1,400 for Oregon. I love that Dan Lanning. I love that Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning's a stud. Big time friend of the show. My pick for the national title. Everybody knows I want the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I think we're a year away from the national championship. I know we're going to get in the college playoff this year, but I know we're a year away. So if I'm going to be unbiased, look at it from 50,000 feet, it's going to be one of two teams. It's going to be Texas with Arch Manning. I think he's everything that people hype him up to be. We're yet to see it. But if I'm going to keep this title in the Big Ten, I think it is a put up or shut up year for James Franklin in getting over the hump of beating top 5 teams, getting over the hump and winning the big game. Penn State returns pretty much everybody. They got an All-American backfield. You got Drew Aller at the quarterback position. It's his second year with the OC, so he's going to make big leaps and bounds from a mental standpoint. They brought in transfers on the outside. I like Penn State. They're going to be great on defense. They brought in Jim Knowles as a defensive coordinator over from Ohio State, who had the #1 defense in the country last year with a lot of aliens, but Penn State has aliens of their own. They return a lot of their team, and this is the year. If Penn State's going to be who they always say that they can be and live up to that standard, it's this year. James Franklin, college football national champions.
Okay, I want to say one thing real quick about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They play this Thursday in Kansas City at Arrowhead. Will Compton, Taylor Lewan will be at that game. It is disgusting that FanDuel only has Nebraska favored by 6.5 points. All right. People can get excited about Cincinnati because they were good 15 years ago when Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce are part of the team. They were possibly national champions, possibly not national champions. Nebraska Cornhuskers, Matt Rule, year 3. It starts this Thursday.